gonna be rich.
We're gonna be rich.
Hello, hello, welcome everybody to Salty Saturday, the first of the new THL season. It's exciting. Every team, brand new slate, chance to win it all. We've got two great matches tonight. I am Dante, excited to be here with the man himself, THL's own, Amberflight Gaming's own, Masters Tour Oregon Mark qualifier, breaker of cams, Ron Mexico. Ron, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Hey, thank you for the fantastic intro. Absolutely, breaker of cams indeed. Hopefully, I get this working by the time Heart Center rolls around. But I am very excited to be taking part in our casting for tonight. We always like to say, "Better luck next season." Well, here it is. Next season is starting, so we are kicking off with a fantastic hero match between Dr. Fish and Clarity, and I can't wait to just dive right into it.
Yeah, we've got, like you said, a fantastic hero match to start with here, and we've got a legacy match later. So we'll talk about the legacy one when we get to it. But we have four teams, three of them very storied. You might even find some of their merchandise in our shop, which is live on TeamHeartLegends.com if you haven't checked it out already. Inferno THL, Clarity's team, who he is representing, is a brand new team to THL, taking on Dr. Fish. Amberflight Gaming's Dr. Fish as well, but part of F2L here in THL. So both players playing their first match of the season, and this is the first match of this series tonight. Looking at the classes, we got Clarity with Demon Hunter, Hunter, Paladin, and Rogue. Dr. Fish with Hunter, Paladin, Priest, and Rogue. And I got one thing to say, and that's, where's the Warrior, Ron?
Where is the Warrior indeed? Maybe the players are just a little bit behind on, the new meta craze that has been sweeping Hearthstone by storm. Rush Warrior is everywhere, but it will not be here in our first match of the night. We've also got some bans in too, so there's some more things that we might not be seeing just yet. Looks like Dr. Fish went with a Rogue ban, and
Okay.
Clarity went with a Paladin ban.
Let me go ahead and
So,
update that on the screen as well so everybody can see that.
so yes, that will make it Dr. Fish's Hunter, Priest, and Rogue up against Clarity's Demon Hunter, Hunter and Paladin for tonight's action. Also, it is Dr. Fish's birthday today.
Oh, all
and,
right.
he wanted to let you know that if he wins, Clarity is interested in singing happy birthday to him in the interview. So some added incentive there for the match.
All right. If we do have time in between the matches for the interview, then absolutely we'll make that a point to have that occur. So just to make sure I have it right, you said Clarity's Rogue is banned and Fish's Paladin is banned. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right, we should be seeing that on screen then. So, okay, with that knowledge, Ron, any thoughts on how you see this match playing out?
So, of course, for those who are unfamiliar, this is last hero standing. It means when you win with a deck, that deck stays up. When you lose with the deck, that deck is eliminated, which always informs a lot of decisions for how you have to structure your queue ordering and make sure you have counters for each things. Oftentimes, players will lead with the deck that they feel is strongest or has the most sweep potential. Priest, I feel, is pretty well positioned in this meta. I could definitely see Dr. Fish leading with a Priest. And on Clarity's side, his Rogue was banned, but his Paladin is not one of the strongest decks in the format at the moment, no matter what Paladin archetype you seem to go with. I could see just power versus power here with a Priest Paladin matchup to lead off.
I think that's a reasonable assumption. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Fish didn't ban either the Hunter or the Paladin, as those two seem to be those highest sweep potential decks.
Yeah, Rogue, a little bit of a wild card ban.
Definitely.
It may be a nod to Clarity's preferences, though, because Clarity is big on Rogue. He really enjoys playing Rogue, so Fish might have just taken that ban to throw him out of his comfort zone.
A reasonable possibility. And week one is all about comfort, as we know. Meta's still shifting, still kind of finding the footing for a lot of teams. And, the submission date was pushed back to Thursday this week. It's normally Wednesday for classes, so got a little bit of extra time in a post-nerf meta, but that's really not a lot of time to get a full evaluation of what a great lineup truly is. So yeah, it's not I guess these week one lineups is not what you would probably expect to see going forward. As we get into week 2, week 3, you might start to see the cream rise to the top. So for now, we're still kind of in that experimenting phase, and anybody can win it. Speaking of that, well, why don't we let these players get going here, as we're just a little past 9 p.m., and that's when we told them they'd be good to go. So we'll do that.
Let's do it.
Ron, while I'm letting these players know, why don't you let our viewers know why they should subscribe to the THL Twitch channel?
Oh, well, I mean, we happen to have some of the most fantastic emotes and a lovely THL chat badge that you can get for subscribing to this channel. Subscribing would help enable us to improve the quality and content of our streams that we provide to you, the viewer. And we're all just here to have a good time, to have some more Hearthstone action. If you find it within your heart to give us a little boost, it is greatly appreciated. I got a rapid fire commercial I could do, but it's not in front of me and it's not off the top of my head. So we're just going to go with that short and sweet one for now.
Appreciate it. And we are getting started. We'll see Clarity on the bottom of your screen and Fish on the top as the client loads up the game here.
I see eyeballs. Let's jump in. Well, as I play a game of, I don't know, musical eyeballs to try to click the right ones.
Of course. Yeah, struggling with the client is always a fun experience.
All right. And in here, it looks like Dr. Fish is leading off with the Hunter. Also pretty reasonable opener and one with some sweet potential. And Clarity is, in fact, starting off with the Paladin as expected.
And we see the Paladin for Clarity. And this format, we don't know the lists. We know the classes. We don't know the lists. We're looking at what appears to be a Libram variant of Paladin. Sometimes we get that Secret Paladin. Doesn't have all the Librams. This is not one of those times. Fish has what is being, the Face Hunter deck that looks like it's kind of taken over ladder. And I think the Paladin matches up pretty decently if Clarity can get some discounts and get into the Librams of Hope.
Absolutely. The thing that you love doing against a deck that tries to push a lot of damage is heal up and put taunts in the way. And Clarity's got a discount already booked as he tries to just survive to that late game and lock things out.
First day of school, that 0 mana cost spell that Clarity played there gave him the Elven Archer, which allowed him to take one of those Volpertingers off the board. A very, very fortunate first one drop minion for the first day of school to provide. Blackjack Stunner also some surprising synergy in this deck, since he can go ahead and throw something like this Felmaw back to hand and force Fish to have to wait 2 more turns to play it again.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous minion to have along with the secret, and Galloping Savior at that, a secret that is going to be very hard to activate even if he just wanted to throw it out on board, but he could always save it to pair it together. Clarity kind of having everything go his way in the early game with that Hand of Adal and pushing more damage here too.
Fish now considering the next move. Mankrik on 3, rarely a bad decision, but it will just get chewed up by this 3/5 here. So I don't see too many other options, though. Fish maybe hoping that Felmaw comes out, pops the 3/5, doesn't want to have the Mankrik just get chewed up by it, but I think he's got to keep progressing and putting threats on
Mankrik
board.
still survives by 1.
Yes, math is hard.
We gotta find wife. Find wife.
We do. We need to find. Well, Mankrik doesn't survive anymore because Hand of Adal just got picked up. I was just telling you what was going to happen. I was predicting the Hand of Adal draw.
Oh, but Clarity is feeling smorky.
Wow.
He's sending this all face. And we got ourselves a trademark going straight into that Aldor Attendant, which, very fortunately for Fish now, he's got a lot of ways to clear this up with the Wound Praise and the Demon Companion in hand. Could lead Demon Companion first, see if you get the buff your board. It's the worst one.
It is. It's the taunt. But as you said, Wound Praise still in hand here. We're going to see that come down. Target the 5/2. An interesting decision there. He trades the Mankrik into the 1/1. We've seen both Hand of Adals, so I guess Libram of Wisdom is a possibility to buff that up and clear the 2/2. Is that a little bit too slow for your liking with this Face Hunter deck, Ron?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just getting a little mixed signals here. Clarity on the Paladin side decided to push face, and Fish on the Hunter side decided to trade. And I'm trying to figure out what's happening.
Well, here comes that combo.
This is Face Hunter. This isn't Trade Hunter.
And not the strongest feeling
bouncing
turn.
The Shima doesn't really do a whole. I assume Clarity didn't want to just bounce Mankrik so Fish could put wife number 2 in the deck.
Yeah, 3/10 minions that immediately hit face tend to be a pain in the butt to remove, so that's not a bad decision. I mean, he does have Libram of Justice in hand, so he does have an answer to that alongside Penflinger, but if you're a Paladin going against Face Hunter and you're at 28 health on turn 4, you feel like you're probably doing pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Clarity just honestly wants to make it to turn 8, or possibly even sooner, depending on more discounts, because Libram of Hope often will just lock out the game.
Right. And here's the Avenge. Gets triggered, makes the Recruit a 4/3.
So a little bit of awkward ordering from Dr. Fish not to get the Initiate out, but prioritizing just weaving in as many button presses as possible. Clarity on the other side, though, in a pretty good spot.
I think if I had to guess, Fish's game plan there was I'm going to get the Initiate and I'm going to activate the Quick Shot next turn, and hopefully I should be able to just dump my hand and get a draw at a Quick Shot.
All right, Clarity opts for the Libram of Justice here and clears up the board. Preferred to stick the Horse Trap rather than leave a Penflinger hanging out there.
So Fish does pick up the one of, 4 cards in the deck that would not allow him to dump his hand and get a draw of Quick Shot this turn. However, the Intrepid Initiate plus the Piercing Shot now becomes pretty enticing, as that allows you to drop 5 to face and put down a minion. that
Yeah,
you can
seems
trigger
solid. I
the spell
don't know
burst,
if
yeah.
there's a better play here than that.
No, I don't.
Unless Fish is very specifically trying to test Yogg, which it looks like he was.
That's true. Again, not a card that I mean it's pretty much in every one of these decks, and not necessarily a two of, at least one of. So it is a reasonable first route to take there in that case. And there's the Crimson Sigil Runner off of First Day at School. A very, very good set of First Days at School for Clarity, as it just popped itself right into the Outcast side.
Insta Outcast for draw, a little bit more healing against the face deck. Things are going quite well for Clarity's Paladin at this stage of the game, and Dr. Fish is almost completely out of gas. Clarity's got 2 turns before this game pretty much gets all but completely locked up. A good draw from Fish, still holding back on getting the Initiate down and activating its spell burst.
And we see that Penflinger sitting Clarity saying he hasn't really utilized it at all, and it's recently been nerfed. It now no longer hits face; it only hits minions. A great piece in this deck towards the Face Hunter specifically. But do you think that Penflinger is strong enough to still be included in these decks?
I think it's very reasonable, just because you run double Libram of Justice. I don't know how much of a place Penflinger has in the meta anymore, but in this deck, it feels perfectly fine to at least run 1 copy as a way to help with some board control.
And now Clarity down to 7 health. Fish has the hero power, of course. Really just needs to find 5 damage. But if he can't find it this next turn, Libram of Hope will all but lock this game out. So this is pretty much Fish's last shot.
Yeah, this is an interesting decision point for Clarity. Do you just completely pass here? I like this move from Clarity.
What a draw!
Oh, wow.
What a draw!
Oh,
It's
wow.
Mancrick!
He found one.
And he found the Knife Bender!
Oh my
god!
Right off the top.
Oh
right
no!
Clarity healed out of rage, and
Devastating.
fireworks in game 1 as Dr. Fish pulls out a thrilling game 1 victory, eliminating Clarity's Paladin and getting the Hunter through to game 2.
By the way, I left the stream on because I just wanted to say that for the first time ever I got Spectate Quest while streaming for THL.
Nice.
So I got XP for that. Just a little whimsy there, but man, what an ending to that game! That is, whew. Yeah, those are like the only draws that really could have saved, because we'd seen 2 piercing shots already.
Yeah, I hadn't
one
even
quick shot.
gotten the chance to talk about how Clarity just played around the trampling Rhino that would have killed him before Fish found literally the perfect out. But sometimes Hunter just gets there.
Well, we're going to see if Clarity's Hunter gets there, and it's going to be a Hunter v Hunter mirror now.
I mean, all I can say for sure is Hunter is definitely getting there in this game. We're going to see which Hunter comes out on top. Both players starting with a Rinling's Rifle in the opener. I'd say we're looking for earlier game cards, so we'll see what the mulls are.
Ron, I just want to say that was game 1 of Salty Saturday for this entire season. We just set a very high bar for excitement here in game 1.
Oh, look at this hand for Dr. Fish, too. He's got a Mancrick on 3. He's got Code Obama on 5. Oh, it's nonsense.
But on the other side, Clarity's got the
immediately.
coin. Clarity's got the coin and Kolkar Pack Runner. So I think this is going to be set up for a very interesting back and forth here. It's kind of who sticks this board and keeps it for a turn or 2 first is going to be ultimately the winner of this match.
Yeah, and Clarity highly prioritizing the early game board control over the payoff from the pack runners, so we will see how this works out. It certainly seems fine in the early going as Dr. Fish with nothing to do but just press the button. Out comes Face Maw.
Yeah, once the coin was utilized there, Kolkar Pack Runner, the power level goes down pretty significantly on that turn. So happy to draw that Face Maw and be able to play that instead of just having to play a Pack Runner or just hero power. But there's Pack Runner plus Adorable Infestation.
Yeah, not bad for sure. Gets to push some additional damage. There's a slight consideration maybe to try to protect the pack runner, to exploit its ability a little bit more, but we see Clarity's hand holds no spells, so he says, you know what, if you want to kill it, go for it.
Yeah, I think that is a consideration in this particular moment. That actually was a good decision. Normally, like you said, you would want to protect that pack runner. But if Fish might be able to take note that means that gives him a little information of what's in Clarity's hand. And, well, Face Maw does what Face Maw does and continues to push the issue for Clarity.
Clarity must have prepped it beforehand. Telling him, make sure you go face. Tell him he's a good boy. And, Face Maw rewards you by going face. Here we've got some interesting options selected. Clarity just going with open the cages, saying it's pretty likely that he's going to stick at least 2 minions to survive on this board. Fish can get insta-wife, but he's pretty far behind at this point. You get the 310 going face, but you're looking at a lot of damage incoming.
Well, guaranteed, 8 from the board plus the weapon is 10, 12 if you hero power. So just from what he can see, it puts him down to 3 health. And that's provided this doesn't trigger an explosive trap, which we know it's not, but it could have been very, very bad.
Yep, and there's the cages.
Never mind.
And that'll do it.
Exactly. And Demon Companion just for good measure.
I mean, if it was Huffer, it would have worked too.
Very true.
It had to be literally Misha.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 options equals lethal. And we're going to see, this does not matter this pick. We were going to go to a 1-1 series as Clarity evens it up with a Hunter win of his own.
All right, so Dr. Fish's Hunter now eliminated in return. He has remaining the Priest and his Rogue. Clarity, of course, the Paladin already eliminated. Hunter remains up, and he's got Demon Hunter left behind if the Hunter winds up losing. But in the Battle of Hunters, Clarity comes out on top in Game 2, all evened up at 1-1. Very interested to see what Fish's counter pick will be here.
Yeah, I have to imagine that Priest is probably the pick.
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised to see Rogue, but you never know. Maybe there's some spicy Rogue techs, but I would expect Priest is, 90-something% likely to come out from Fish here.
I feel like Priest, the reason you're bringing in an LHS lineup is because you need to counter the extra aggressive type of stuff out of Hunter. Just to heal out of range and just in general be frustrating. It seems like it's the reason it's here.
All right, and the players dive into Game 3, and here it is, Dr. Fish on the Priest, Clarity once again back on that Hunter. And we'll see how this one plays out. So far, kind of a clunky hand for Fish. Palm reading's good, though.
Yeah, palm reading Zarella, and then Samuro, the diamond card, comes into hand off the mulligan there, keeping the Hysteria as well. Condemn is a big pickup. Very, very good board clear. It will level up as the game goes on, as more mana becomes available for Fish.
Out comes Face Maw once again. This is going to create an interesting decision point for Dr. Fish if he wants to try to actually stick a minion on the board that could soak up a hit, or just allow this 5 to go face. See Clarity playing on curve and jamming the Mancrick.
Yeah, it's part of what's so interesting about the play flow of this Hunter deck too, is in the past, as you would play against an aggressive deck like this that all it wants to do is establish board and crush you as fast as possible, you want to, in turn, get things on board to combat it. However, doing so now opens you up to a Trampling Rhino, which is can be, when it's buffed, like a mini Fireball. And you really have to balance it and know what turns that the Rhino is likely to come out, and just to make sure that you're never in instant Rhino lethal range as the opponent.
True. Yeah, and no training needed this time around for the Face Maw. That was a guaranteed face. And Clarity just continues to play cards and send damage on curve, sending quite a bit of pressure in these early turns.
Yeah, this is a scary board.
You saw pick the taunt. You could play the taunt here.
I think Hysteria is another good possibility. Very likely to be a board clear if you target
Hysteria
the Felmaw.
looks like the best option of the bunch. guaranteed get rid of the most dangerous minion with a chance to at least remove most of the board.
Yeah, odds are you're leaving one thing, but yeah, it's well,
Oh wow,
nope,
perfect hits.
exactly what you wanted.
And honestly, you could make an argument to coin out this amalgam, but Dr. Fish taking it a little bit slow, just gonna heal up. Insta wife
Man, wow.
right before Coat of Pain was gonna come down. Do you still play Coat of Pain?
I think you probably do at this point now.
I would honestly be like, I mean, I guess it's the same difference, right? But I'd be like just a little bit irritated if
Of
I was
course,
Clarity
yeah.
here. Like, what? I was gonna pull that anyway.
Yeah, it's always the way. It's right before you're going to play the card that would take it for free. Same thing happens with like Sword of the Fallen. You draw a secret right before you play it, and you're like, oh, cool. I would have just rather play that from the sword, but that's okay. You still take your 2 draw because Coat of Pain was played before Mancrick's wife was fixed to Mancrick. This is Mancrick. It's his wife was found. It's still Mancrick. He's just mad now. But yeah, it was played before. It'll be played here anyway.
I still just call this card wife.
It's true. It's the quicker way. It's far less wordy. Like back in my day playing WoW, we all had trouble finding Mancrick's wife without any outside assistance. But now, all these players they just seem to find her so quickly, and we're seeing this 310 every game at this point.
All right, decisions once again for Dr. Fish. Gonna lead off with the palm reading. Finds another condemn as an
Yeah.
option. Likely the strongest of these choices here.
Gonna go with the power infusion though.
Maybe thinking he wants to prepare that for the Samuro clear.
Could be. Gonna draw minion. Ooh, the light shower elemental. That is.
Well, Fish is finding
yeah.
a lot of healing here.
Yeah, that plus Xyrella could be a huge clear turn. Double Demon Companion. First one is a charge. Second one buffs. Whoa. And all of a sudden, very scary.
Great outcomes for Clarity here. But we do see Dr. Fish holding Condemn and Light Shower and Samuro. I mean, there's plenty of options to just completely clear up this board and either throw a taunt in the way that winds up being more heal, or just, heal a little bit out of range with the Xyrella clear. Options abound.
It can't be forgetting about the fact that Piercing Shot can be used on your own minion as well. So Fish doesn't even need to play anything for that Piercing Shot to be active if Clarity would like.
True.
Guide my hand.
He's hovering the Condemn. Looks like he wants to get the Samuro down. All right, so opting for 0 heal on this turn. Does get the full board clear, but at a very dangerous life total.
Now, Warsong Wrangler picked up 1 Rhino in hand, could pick up the second if Clarity would like, and it would buff it, but he would not be able to play the Rhino this turn. However, the Rhino doesn't overkill Samuro either, so it's not going to actually do any damage right now.
Clarity looking like he wants that Warsong Wrangler. Could take the Wolpertinger as well. Only 2 beasts run in this deck, so it's a guarantee that you get offered either of those.
Yeah, I like that. I like that this turn, because now you're going to play that. You're going to Hero Power here as well, and then next turn you can go Piercing Shot, Quick Shot, Hero Power for a maximum of 10 damage.
I think you just have to press the button. Clarity looked like he was debating maybe on the Quick Shot. Most of the oops, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't think you want to use the Quick Shot there. It is 1 more damage than Hero Power, but Hero Power is repeatable and free. Well, not free, but same cost in this situation. So I think
huge pickup for Dr. Fish, and that probably is going to wind up locking this game out.
Yeah, 1 turn shy for Clarity of being able to get there. I'd say dangerous if he wants to leave the minions up, but no, he's going to condemn, clear the board here with Samuro, and yeah, this is probably insurmountable at this point here for Clarity. I mean, he can kill the Samuro using Piercing Shot and Quick Shot, which doesn't feel great, but it does stop the healing. But then with the Light Shower Elementals that we see in hand, this is just, at this point, Fish is never going to die, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, basically the only line probably that Clarity can take, but with the Light Shower so we can see in Fish's hand, there's just no way that Clarity's Hunter deck is going to be able to put together enough damage to get there.
Wand Maker.
All right.
Wave of
then
Apathy.
See the 4 mana plus the button. Your button counters their button, so just make sure you get as much heal as possible, and Priest is feeling good at this stage.
It's always one of my favorite things in Hearthstone is these types of games as a Priest or as a control deck where you stabilize, especially when you're really close to death. And then you see, like we see a concede right here from Clarity, you see your opponent at full health, but you know that you're the one who's in charge. It's just a really odd dynamic that's always fun to watch in Hearthstone.
Ah, yes. Fun.
Well, I'm not a smorking gentleman on the level of you, Ron.
But well played by Fish. The Priest does pick up that win. You know, the counter to the other deck that was up, of course, coming through. And now Clarity is down to his Demon Hunter to try to close out this match. Dr. Fish, of course, with Rogue still waiting in the wings, has the 2-1 lead and trying to wrap things up to give F2L Black their first this season. Or first match win of the season, I should
Correct.
say.
Yep.
This is my moment.
So here we go to game 4. We will see Clarity's final deck. That Demon Hunter looks like it could be mid-range, could be a Soul Demon Hunter.
Likely mid-range. I would say Cult Neophyte is a very unusual choice in Soul Demon Hunter. The rest of the cards, of course, frequently run in both.
Yeah, there's the Bladed Lady. That is pretty textbook mid-range. So the Venomous Scorpion in hand for Fish. We did not see that in game 1. Or game 1 with the Priest, I should say.
True. Clarity finding a Spectral Sight. Not bad. You can coin that out right now for more draw.
Mm-hmm. That seems like the
It's
right
an interesting
move.
option to lead Illidari Studies. I'm surprised he went with the lead and then found the high roll from it for turn 1 and decided to hold it back. But maybe, you know, this is a deck built lower to the ground.
I was say he picked up I-Beam and could still do that plus Spectral Sight. Instead opts to play the Neophyte.
So Neophyte coming down, definitely a frustrating thing a lot of times for Priest that has such a heavy hand full of spells, but Dr. Fish just so happened to have the 3-mana minion that he wanted to play instead of a spell anyway. So Neophyte's ability goes wasted. Fortitude, Draconic, both really good looking options. Wave, not quite as appealing. But Fortitude gets very discounted with your hand full of spells. And Draconic Studies, well, I mean, you main deck 2 of them.
There's
Goes with
Ogremancer.
Fortitude.
Yeah, Fortitude, interesting decision here. You know, there's no silence in this deck anymore in Demon Hunter with the Outcast card. I'm losing my mind.
True,
I cannot think of what it was.
Consume Magic.
Yes.
So yes, Demon Hunter no longer has access to, you know, 1 mana targeted silence. The only real silence abilities are from sigils, which are still an unusual option to be run.
Fish with a consideration here. Nothing really that he
I
sees
think I would
on
like to see a
board.
Raised Dead come down here, but Dr. Fish just going to hold back. Raised Dead would have given you a Scorpid and a Wand Maker.
Yeah, lots of
which would've
value.
been a great use of the 4 mana. Instead, though, Fish just playing it real patient. And Clarity That's why we held the coin. We always want Ogremancer as fast as possible in a deck full of spells. Versus a deck full of spells, I should say.
Not only that, seeing that Fish did not play a minion has to signal to Clarity, hey, he didn't play a minion, he doesn't have a minion, or, well, he's got Cyrella, but you don't want to just play that for no reason. So this means that if Fish is going to do anything this turn, it's probably going to involve giving Clarity some minions.
You could get it clear, right, with Holy Smite and Hysteria. If you smited the ogre,
Yes.
right, you could have Hysteria'd the ogre and cleared up the board.
Right.
But Fish still just playing it very, very slow.
And we see Kazakus picked up, Kazakus played.
See a Kazakus, play a Kazakus. Divine Shield, Poison Stealth, maybe Divine Shield.
We'll have to wait
these-
to see.
These options kind of look disappointing.
Ends
Not
up going
exactly
with-
what Clarity is looking for. Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
Divine Shield buff.
Yeah, I mean, not terrible. Not terrible. And if the minions here stick, or if Fish ends up giving Clarity some tutus, it could be a sneaky play.
True.
But
Now
no, here comes
Fish
the
wants to
Hysteria.
go with the Hysteria. Still doesn't clear the ogre.
Yeah, it would have been like you said. You still want to play the smite first, because now he's going to smite and leave up a tutu. So yeah, just a little bit of an ordering issue there.
All things considered, not bad overall
No.
for the priest. It can very well handle just a 2/2. Winds up drawing a discounted Mancrick. That's right, Mancrick in everything. We always got to find wife.
he really is in almost every deck at this point. And here comes that golem. Gonna buff the 2/2. Get a little bit of face damage here, and Clarity starting to make headway. Gonna see some big possible turns here with the Furies, with the Illidari Inquisitor. I almost said Illidari Inquisition. This is not.
No one expects the
No,
Illidari
I was-
Inquisition.
I say this is not Monty Python, but yes.
Sort of still an awkward turn again for Dr. Fish, but if he wants to, he could once again full clear given the flash heal in hand. It looks like that's what he's looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, takes the flash heal Zarella and says, get that board out of here. I'll stick my own 4/4 as well. And looks like he wants to end the turn with the raised dead. No, he moused it and then decided against it.
Second Inquisitor in hand now, and Clarity's got the pieces that you generally want. And there's a Chaos Strike. Use the Spectral Sight just for a single draw.
Ideally for Clarity, he would have a weapon heading into this turn,
goodness.
but couldn't find it. Still just kind of bricking on a lot of these draws and discovers here. Takes the
takes the
skull. That's
skull.
going to be hard to outcast.
Yeah, I think it really just depends on whether or not he gets a card that he can play this next turn to immediately skull. So it's going to have to be something 3 cost or less that isn't an outcast card and doesn't draw a card.
Suppose it could have been good enough to smack into the Zarella and I-beam it, but Clarity opting to just go face instead here.
Yeah, always dangerous to leave any priest minions up, with Apotheosis being a card that they run or can generate quite frequently.
Here it is. Find wife.
And here comes that Powered Fortitude. A 7/9 is very tough. Very
That's
tough
a
to clear.
beefy Zarella. Insight winds up pulling a very shiny, cheap Samuro. Fish gets a little bit more healing here.
So for Clarity, he does pick up a minion that he can play and immediately play
Yeah.
the skull. So it ends up working out in his favor. Though he's going to leave a couple things on board and start to get into danger territory himself.
Clarity's all about the skull here. Doesn't find anything too game-changing, though, with the Wand Maker, Battle Fiend. Wand Maker generates a Demon Companion. He gets to throw some minions and stats on the board, push a little bit of face damage, but not a whole lot going on. It's still pretty far behind stats-wise.
Now, and Fish still has all the options available to him. Soul Mirror is in hand, Samuro is in hand, and Hysteria now in hand. So lots of clear options. Samuro would be an easy one here, but he might be looking to hold off on the Soul Mirror until he sees things like the Inquisitor or the Bladed Lady that would be much harder to kill than Samuro.
True.
Yeah, I think this
Could
is.
lead with that Raise Dead.
Yeah,
It only costs 1 instead of 0. Maybe finds you some options like the Scorpid, like the Wand Maker.
yeah. I think Raised Dead's a good start here. I think we're gonna end up probably seeing Samuro unless something
Hey,
gets generated.
those exact things. Did anything else die? Or that was a guarantee, I think.
That was 100% guarantee. Yeah.
No time.
I mean, we can make you look more prophetic if you'd like.
Hey, I can't believe I called it in the 100% guaranteed pool of exactly that coming out. All right, once again, just clearing things up. Gets to push 7 as well as just to heal up the man crick to full. Or heal face.
Well, there's the Warblades. Can get a big heal here with Warblades plus Fury.
Just from the beginning, it looks like Clarity has kind of played this extremely slow and has been on the back foot against a priest, which is an unusual situation for a demon hunter to find themselves in. And just there's too much. I can't believe I'm saying this. There's too much pressure
From Priest.
priest for demon hunter to really keep up at this stage of the game. Clarity's in a lot of trouble here.
I think he probably has to Warblade Skull, see what you get, but probably going to play like Double Fury, play the Bladed Lady, get stuff on board, clear a few things, heal yourself big, and hope. Just hope you have enough juice to get there next turn. And that's what. No, we're going to see the.
Yeah, he could maybe hold back on the skull too, just to try to use the eye beam to clear up a little bit.
Could. Looks like he's going to.
The way it just makes sure that that 7 damage stops hitting you in the face.
That also minimizes the impact of an Apotheosis, but
The
oh no!
minions, though, not really much a priority. When you have 9,
Yeah,
you like
9
to send
needs to go
that face
face.
here. Goes into a 1/5 instead, so Clarity very much prioritizing board.
Yeah, 9 I think need to go to face there because you've got 13 that you'd be dropping your opponent to, and then with the Warblades plus the Inquisitor next turn, that's 10 already. So if you pick up Chaos Strike, you're pretty much there.
Yeah, Fish has got a light shower, just going to slam that down on the board. And
Yeah,
without
great
even
timing.
healing face at all, this is go right back up to 30 once this minion dies. Clarity, no real great options besides just throwing that Inquisitor down, killing the minion. Could opt, if he wanted to hero power and kill the Scorpid and not send any face damage. Or get the guaranteed 11 going face, like 11 face.
Yeah, I think at this point the damage needs to go face. You're running out of threats. You're running out of ways to really deal damage to the priest outside of your hero power, which they can counter with their hero power. And Desperate Prayer. Xyrella does
Maybe
love
you
her
just
Desperate
take
Prayer.
the death as an answer to the second Illidari. Yeah, it looks like Fish wants to hold on to the Shadower Death.
Bang!
Plays a giant minion from the deck with
Yeah,
that
10,
Idol of
10.
Yasharaj. And it's 8 more healing too. This is a disaster for Clarity. I don't see how he gets out of this one. So goes with draw. I mean, normally you like doing that, but I don't like the hero power draw with Mana Feeder on this turn, given that Skull was already kind of blocked by some cards to be outcasted. And now it's very blocked.
Yeah, no way you can Warblades into that 10-10. It's only going to heal you, or basically heal 7 to you, which means you will
Clarity's
just die.
pretty much acknowledging this game is over. It looks like Fish is on his way to a 3-1 victory for F2L Black. We still got to play out a few more things, but it doesn't seem all that possible for Clarity at this stage. Okay, just pile it on, you know. Take a Mage Scribe maybe, get more spells. You can Raise Dead yourself, why not? You have a 10-10 that heals you anyway. Play the Mage Scribe, play the Raise Dead, get more stuff. The world is your oyster in this game, Dr. Fish. There are no wrong plays.
I was gonna say you want to take the plays that keep you the highest percentage to win, but basically all these plays at this point are almost 100%.
I mean, I'm pretty sure send damage and float 10 mana would have been a winning line as well. All right. Clarity got an Illidari.
I mean, technically he can stay alive if he clears the Illidari, or if he uses the Illidari to clear the Light Shower Elemental alongside the Wandmaker, and then hits.
Right, he'd be one off
he'd
dying.
Be,
yeah.
He'd be barely alive. Yes.
Chip in a chair type.
It's really well.
All right, yeah, he's just taking the lethal. Does this attack first before the explosion? Nope. It does not. All right, and the Priest picking up a very crucial couple games as a win for Dr. Fish, and that is going to be the decider. Do we have time for an interview? Can we have the happy birthday song from Clarity to Fish?
You know, I do believe we can. The players, in the next match are expecting for 10 p.m. So we do have a few minutes, I think, where we can get the players in here for a well-deserved happy birthday to Dr. Fish. So let's go ahead and get them in here. While I'm contacting the players here, any overall last second thoughts on that series there, Ron?
Priest is pretty good right now.
Yeah, it's not bad.
There were some real fireworks though early. Who knows what would have happened without the the enraged Mankrik plus, the exact lethal with the knife, whatever, 3/4 in game 1. If Paladin had stayed, then things could have gone a little bit different. But Fish picking up that early crucial win to eliminate what I think was probably Clarity's strongest deck, and then Priest just kind of closed it out.
Boy, I'm just boomering real hard on Discord right now. I'm not gonna lie.
These things happen. I'm very familiar with boomering. Do you want me to see if I can add? Do you have Fish? I can try to add Clarity.
I have Fish, and I sent Clarity a friend request, so we'll need him to do that before he can join. But Fish appears to be here.
Hello.
Hey there, Fish. Happy birthday, my friend.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan Daneron. Whew, that was a series.
That was so. I mean, it started, a little less than stellar there with the. Well, actually, no, it started very, very stellar for you with the Hunter draw.
I won the unfavored Hunter versus Paladin.
Yeah, the Hunter, that
insane.
Hunter draw was a thing of beauty for Hunter fans out there.
Yeah, that was quite the draw. I had a whole plan, and then the plan kind of got thrown off by winning the first one, but I still managed to keep on track and make sure I was doing matchups I could to help myself win the match.
Hey, there he is. All right,
Yeah.
As I understand it, there was a promise if Dr. Fish won that Clarity would sing "Happy Birthday." So welcome, Clarity.
Hi, Clarity.
Yeah.
That was a good series.
Yeah, it was a good series. That game 1 was really nutty, man.
The draws. Yeah, I drew insanely well at the right time.
I had an 8-mana hope in my hand, by the way.
Yeah, I knew you had a hope. Always have hope.
All right, well, I gotta stop writing checks with my mouth that my ass can't cash. So happy birthday, Fish. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. Fish. Happy birthday to you.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very good job. I had lighters up, which you'll see in 10 minutes.
I'll see it in 10 minutes.
I do respect a man who makes a promise and follows through on it for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Are you even a man if you don't stay to your word?
Well, that was a very entertaining series. I'm glad to have you both here. Clarity, obviously,
Yeah.
we got your reaction on the amazing draw at the end of the game, game one. There, you bounced back in game two as well, but Priest really just did you in. Fish, what was your thought process there with Priest? Was it specifically for a single counter, or did you just think that Priest was positioned overall well here in last year's standing?
I really have enjoyed playing Priest overall. It's just a class I felt comfortable with. I might have brought Demon Hunter in some capacity, but I wasn't 100% confident. I haven't really played like the new version of Soul DH and the mid-range Demon Hunter. I felt like Priest could be positioned pretty well with some of the decks that are around. And I mean, it worked out. It worked out against the deck it wasn't supposed to work out against in the Demon Hunter, because that was a matchup that I had to be really greedy to win.
Definitely. I mean, it ended up going very well for you. I know Clarity drew a pretty heavy hand there too, with both both Illadaris in hand too, which I'm sure you saw obviously as they got both
the
ended up
Inquisitors.
getting played.
I was like, wow, yeah, the Inquisitors coming out just in a rough spot because they were pretty early on in the hand.
Yeah, Zarella got big, and Demon Hunter really struggled with the 7-9 on board. There are a few possible alternate lines, maybe, but overall, just the way you navigated that game, Fish kind of closed the door on Demon Hunter, and it succumbed to the tempo Priest pressure, as it were. But sometimes that happens. Hearthstone has many different alternate lines to find victories, and you did well finding that win there, and it wound up paying off. So congrats on the first win of the season and taking that early 3-1 win, giving F2L Black the 4-1 lead to start things off.
Thank you. I mean, my team is so good at help me get prepared really well. So shout outs to like Rabobson, Hockey, Itachi, and Catharsis for helping me out. And it's always a blast. I mean, Clarity and I had a great series last season, and this one was pretty good as well. I'm excited to go back and listen to the VOD and see where I could have done things differently and learn from them.
Well, congratulations once more.
That's the important part. Every time you play Hearthstone, go back and look, see what you can improve upon, and it's always a process to learn and get better. Great mindset, and excited to see what we see from both of you players as we move on further into the season.
Yep,
absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you, Clarity, for joining us as well, and wishing Fish a happy birthday.
Yeah, no problem, guys. GG's Fish. Thanks for catching, guys.
Guys.
You guys got a second match, right?
We sure do.
Yes, we do. We'll get to it soon.
I'm gonna come check it out.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
And as they said, we do have a second match coming up. So let's go ahead and flip our screen on over.
Let's move on over to the Legacy Series.
Absolutely. Featuring Dad Legends Desharmo and Dirty Mike and the Boys' Astral Frog. So this is, again, week one. Every series in THL now in tandem starting up this season. We don't have any of that weird staggered stuff. So everything's week one. These players both play in their first match. But unlike last time, we have actual games played in this series. Dad Legend leads 8-6 right now with a win from Honest Zabe and your Mumcat over Kazgar and Tony Montana. But Lefty getting a win over Haster for Dirty Mike and the Boys. So, although Dad Legend is ahead, it is far from over. This is a very, very important game here for Dad Legend to try and close out and get win number one run.
Yeah, anyone's game here. Dad Legend, of course, with that 8-6 lead, and Desharmo in the spot to give his team a pretty commanding lead, potentially locking up the series if it goes, ideally for him. But two really strong players in Desharmo and Astral Frog on the other side for Dirty Mike and the Boys. Unlike Hero that we just watched, we have conferences. This is Legacy Red action.
Yes.
Everything in Hero is Hero Teal this season, so you just watch them Hero Teal. But we're going to bring you Legacy Red here with these teams. And of course, the other major difference, if you are unfamiliar, Legacy Series, it is Conquest, which means that when you win with a deck, it is through. And you have to select another deck from your group of decks. If you lose with the deck, you can still play it again.
What is not different, however, from the last series is that we do not know what the deck lists are. Again, this is a closed list format, just like Last Hero Standing for THL. So these, all we know are the classes. Do you, Ron, have any thoughts on what we might be seeing? We've got Hunter, Paladin, Priest, Warrior for Desharmo, and Demon Hunter, Hunter, Paladin, Warrior for Astrofrogs. 2 Warriors in this one. Might we see some Rush Warrior?
Oh, we're going to see some Rush Warrior. The only way we don't is if we see a double Warrior ban, which I wouldn't be totally surprised by, except for the fact that Desharmo has Priest and likely does not want to ban Warrior with Warrior's best counter in his lineup. Counters and queue ordering, not quite as important in a Conquest series, because if you really struggle against one particular deck, like we saw Clarity wasn't able to beat the Priest, well, once it wins once, it's through and you don't have to worry about it anymore. I would still expect from these players probably just looking at what's the strongest deck, let me try to ban that. Astrofrog very likely could go with the Priest ban for that reason and to protect the Warrior. For Desharmo, I only see a Warrior ban if he's specifically anticipating a Priest ban. But maybe it's just Paladin here, another one of the strongest classes in the format right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, and I mean, it really all depends on what the archetypes hidden beneath the classes are, where they plan to go with their bans. It should be interesting to see. We have notified that both players, they are free to ban, so just waiting on those details to come in. Should we mention once more, as we mentioned at the top of the show, that these 2 teams are teams that have been around in THL now for not just seasons, like literal years, like 2-3 years now. F2L was the other one that was a very prestigious team that's had a bit of a dynasty here in Pro, and now is basically involved in everything the THL does. So if you would like to support not only THL, but one of these teams, Dad Legend, Dirty Mike and the Boys, you can go ahead and get some merch from TeamHearthLegends.com. And
are you telling me I could get merch from either of the teams
from
being represented
either of the
on
teams
stream tonight between
Yeah, man.
Desharmo and Astrofrog? That is incredible.
You can get
Man.
socks, you can get masks, you can get shirts. If you're
It's
a
actually
dad,
pretty
you
awesome
can get.
that Dirty Mike has
I know.
socks.
I love the socks. I'm not gonna lie. I love long socks, so I'm totally on board with that. But if you're a dad, and you can get a Dad Legend kid tee, because you can't be a dad without a kid, and you can't have a kid without a Dad Legend shirt. So it all just makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that logic all worked out.
It follows in my head. That's fine. That's all I care about.
Yeah, definitely some exciting stuff. I love that we have such long-standing, well-represented teams through THL's history with their own merch live on the website that you could get to rep them if you so choose. And these players will be looking to do their teams proud. It's still, as we said, anyone's game. If Astrofrog is able to come out with the victory here, it actually puts Dirty Mike and the Boys in the lead in the series, and it comes down to a 5th and final game. So going to be some exciting action to see who is going to come out on top tonight.
It could be a lead. If it's a 3-2, it would be a 10-10 tie. So at the
Fair enough,
at the very
five,
least, at the very least, Dirty Mike and the Boys will even it up, if not take the lead. So yeah, it will likely come down to Game 5, Series 5, which is Dirty Mike and the Boys has. I'm probably gonna butcher the name. Is it Megu or Megu? I don't know. New player to THL. Megu. And we'll be playing Blue Spartan, not a new player to THL, but new player to Dad Legend this season. So that will be an interesting final series. And while we're waiting for them to get ready here, we can go ahead and take a look down the Legacy Red Conference early standings with Fish period. Sorry, it's a very important period. They're up 8-1 over F2L White right now. Illidan's Death Knights up 4-1 over Flame Pimps. Pod People 6-4 over Standard THL Degenerates, and the Bank Yugi fan club is currently tied with the bye week 0-0.
I'm impressed you could read it.
I've been practicing since the reveal to make
Nice.
sure that I can do it. I can do it and Pasca proud. We have the bands, just like Arby's has the meats. Arby's, not a sponsor of THL, but we out here. We'll haul at you. Get us with some free roast beefs, and we'll throw you on here as a sponsor. We are looking at double Paladin band, Ron.
Double Paladin ban, not a huge surprise.
No.
As we mentioned already, one of the strongest classes in the format with multiple strong archetypes. So both players getting those out of here. So we will see Desharmo's Hunter, Priest, Warrior against Astrofrog's Demon Hunter, Hunter, Warrior.
All right, let's get the players going here and get into series number 2.
Curious to see what the lead will be for these players. I think neither player would want to lead Hunter for fear of running into Warrior early. Maybe we see, like a safer lead from Desharmo and Priest, and, Astrofrog some kind of anticipating of that. Maybe going Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter would have like a reasonable win rate against even Warrior potentially. But it depends. Honestly, you could just throw a dart at a dartboard and say, yeah, I'll go with that one.
That's kind of where it's at right now. You're trying to run into a specific matchup and not run into other specific matchups while your opponent's trying to do the same. So at this point, might just be, random it up and see what you get. But we'll see where the players' heads are at. It should be mentioned, too, Astrofrog, fantastic showing in the last Hero Standing Octathlon event. Ended up being a silver medalist in that event. Ron, you know a thing or two about silver medals in Octathlon.
Oh, second place is kind of my thing in general. But, I did wind up getting a silver medal in the Conquest portion of Octathlon to, resident legend Lolnenko, who wound up getting double gold.
Yeah, shout out to Lolnenko, just absolutely dominating. And we are getting into the game now, trying to wrestle with the spec. It's going to be
Who are we
Priest
going to
for
have
Desharmo.
on top and who's on bottom?
Oh, Desharmo's on the bottom. Astrofrog is on the top.
All right, I see eyeballs. Let's jump in.
We have the same classes we saw in the 4th game of the last series, but we flipped them with our Priest on the bottom, Demon Hunter on top.
All right, so, hey, I called that one. Demon Hunter Priest.
You did. And down comes the Battle Fiend on 1. This is this mid range. Oh, double Battle Fiend for Battlefrog or Battlefrog. Astrofrog. Battlefrog is his new name. I prefer that. It's like Battletoad. Battletoad, but Battlefrog. Astrofrog might just decide to go full aggression here.
I am on attempt number 2 to spectate the players.
I see. I was wondering. I was like, Ron doesn't have opinions on this start, but it's because he's not seeing what I'm seeing. But we're gonna see Felfire Deadeye come down instead.
Right. So
for
here
Astrofrog.
we go. Yep, Deadeye coming down early. Pretty strong opening curve for Astrofrog. Desharmo got a handful of cards and a way to discount that with palm reading. I think. Yeah, I mean this is also solid actually. This might be a little bit better, going with Scorpid here to get one more spell and then taking maybe the palm reading plan.
Yeah, Desharmo snap picked that Hysteria.
Yeah, that was fast. All right, and this Deadeye kind of doing some work in the early going, enabling Astrofrog to fit in a lot of extra things with the mana.
And I will say, I wasn't necessarily 100% sold on Deadeye being a guaranteed needed card in this matchup, or not in this matchup, in this deck list, but it had so much flexibility, especially in these early turns with the Panthara, with the Battle Fiends, that you can weave other things into while still getting a free hero power. It's really a lot better than you would expect it to be.
Yeah, this is supposedly a Demon Hunter and Hunter card. Let's be real, it's just a Demon Hunter card. Just like Mana Feeder Panthara is a Demon Hunter class card. It may look like it's neutral, but don't be fooled. All right, Astrofrog thinking about that Battle Fiend for a little bit, throws it down. Are we going to go pure damage face or trade the Scorpid?
Yeah, an interesting decision here. Looks like we're going face. That's where it lands. And there's a Lucia.
All right, Desharmo leads with a value trade.
Yeah, I think that's what
Is he thinking about
Astrofrog was.
Hysteria here?
That's probably what he was worried about. There was that the potential for it to needs to be dealt with hero power. Unless it's healed, then it needs to be dealt with a second minion, or it's just going to continue to chip away at your board.
Yes, but how?
So very quick value trade decision, and then thinks about it for a bit, does decide Hysteria is the best option, and gets probably the best outcome from that
Yes.
Hysteria as well.
Definitely the best outcome there. Now, a bit of a unfortunate hand here for Astrofrog. That Skull Gul'dan sitting right in the middle, Bladed Lady on its right, and now the Inquisitor on the left. So even if you play that Relentless Pursuit, that Skull Gul'dan is just landlocked. Unless you can get that Bladed Lady out, you're not playing Skull Gul'dan anytime soon. And
Yeah, very awkward situation for Astrofrog, which gives Desharmo the time now to play that palm reading. Interesting options. Desperate Prayer is a possibility just if you're concerned about health, but Insight looking like the strongest of these options here based on hand and board state. Seems to be hovering the Insight, debating a bit.
goes with the Desperate Prayer.
Ken, I don't mind that Desperate Prayer pick at all here. You already had an Insight that you can draw a little bit and just bank some heal that is free and can be paired with Zarella for a pretty nice clear.
Yeah, Swampu's not a bad pickup, as you know that Astrofrog is going to have some weapons in this deck. And Ogremancer, though, great pickup for Astrofrog. Right on time, on 5, gets to play it, and didn't really have much of an option outside of that before. So it feels good to pick that up at the moment, but it feels bad to see the Zarella right afterwards.
Yep, Desharmo able to get that full clear, pairing the Zarella with the Condemn, and bye-bye board for Astrofrog.
Yeah, it might just be
Much
a
as
Bladed
you
Lady
hate
turn.
playing
Yeah.
full cost Bladed Lady, yeah, that looks like the move. Just barely off of being able to pair like Warblades and Pursuit together.
Right.
But honestly, you don't want to wait another turn for a 1-mana Bladed Lady. You can just play it now, clear up the minion.
Yep.
And that's the play.
And not only that, then you can put your Warblades down and in your mind have it on 8 for Inquisitor next turn, or play the Skull Gul'dan if you would rather do that. However, Desharmo does have that counter in the Swamp Ooze, so Astrofrog's going to get some bad news there if he takes that route, or whenever he decides to play the Warblades, only going to get one swing out of it.
Very true. We see Desharmo going with Discover and some more Discover, and a card that generates more cards. Sounds like Priest.
And we see Desharmo's health total climbing back up to almost full, despite being down to, I think it was about 19, 18 at one point.
Yep. Went down to 19, all the way back at 27. Board's empty. Might be debating on playing the Ooze, but there's no need to tempo Ooze here.
No, I mean, if it was a deck that you were playing against where you knew there was no or unlikely to be any high impact weapons, but no, you know you're going to find a target for it eventually here.
So this is interesting for Astrofrog. The fact that he's picked up Deadeye means that he doesn't even need to have the weapon down for turn 8. If he played either weapon or Deadeye, that would be the guaranteed Illidari Inquisitor. But just says Skull is too good right now. I need to play it. And this would probably be an Alusha if Astrofrog decides not to play out the things that he just found here.
Right. Yeah, you would absolutely want to use that Alucia to get as many cards out of Astrofrog's hand as you potentially can. But yeah, playing Kazakus here makes sense. Probably looking at a 5 mana.
Usually,
Yes,
yep,
we
and
are.
it looks like it is a 5. Finds a copy as well, which is always
Yep,
Copy.
stealth copy. That's the... You saw Zyrella get played already. You've seen a Condemn. You probably feel like those have a great chance of living if you play them down.
I like this plan from Astral Frog, throwing out the Mana Feeder as well. So Desharma knows there's only one discounted card from Skull in hand, and not the time to play Alusha. Plays this Mage Scribe and Wave pretty quickly and finds some pretty good options. Initiation and Apotheosis, that can be very dangerously paired together on an Inquisitor and completely flip things around.
Astral looking at that Golem. Gonna get 2 5/5s with stealth. There they go. Is this maybe a Wand Maker first before you Hero Power?
Decision time with 3 mana left was looking at, possibly Warblades. Interesting to see Warblades equipped and swung, expecting there's a likely ooze in the deck at least, and doesn't want to lose all value from the weapon being equipped.
Right, I think that's, knowing the matchup here, that's a decent decision. I can see a case for all of these cards here. For
you
Desharma.
main deck all these cards, right?
Yeah.
You're pretty happy with that Scorpid.
Gonna go ahead and play the Swamp Ooze as expected.
Apotheosis. There's the Ooze, getting rid of the weapon charge. Gets another Discover here. And maybe Hysteria? Takes the Hysteria. All right, now comes the Studies. Wisely held on to that Studies on a previous turn just to make sure you get the Outcast right away. Finds a Skull immediately. Well, find a Skull, play a Skull. Zero mana Eye-Beam, 0 mana Wand Maker, and 2 mana Warglaives. Pretty good outcome. I think you want to play all these cards. Gonna lead with Wand Maker, see if you can find maybe another way to clear. Ideally, that was probably Fellscream Blast. This double jump does potentially pull the second Eye-Beam. Hits it. That'll be good enough for a pretty significant clear here. Takes some damage, but also gets to push. And all in all, pretty solid turn for Astral Frog. All right, and back on Desharmo's side here. Options under too much pressure now to play this Ysera, though. Does have an Apotheosis. Going with that's a full clear. Yeah, clever Apotheosis play there. Desharmo just going in immediately with that. You can tell he plays a decent amount of Priest, because there was no hesitation on Apotheosis, your opponent's minion, and smack them all into each other. Get rid of that board. Here, of course, Astral Frog able to finally apply the pressure with this Inquisitor, was very patient with Inquisitor coming down, and now gets to send more face damage and clear up the board. Desharmo in a tight spot, gonna need to find some outs from the palm readings. Leads and finds a Renew. I think I would have liked to see the 0 mana Renew get played first before the second palm reading. Going a little fast there, maybe. Awkward position. Takes the Hysteria and finds the out. Was looking at almost certain death before finding the way to clear that minion, because if that minion survives, it smacks you in the face, and then hero power, it smacks you in the face again. That's 16 just from the minion alone. But we've got quite a bit of damage still coming from Astral Frog. Outcome studies. Find some card draw. More damage. Wow. All the damage. I think that's lethal. Just double counting to make sure he's not going crazy. But that is, in fact, game over here. Astral Frog picking up enough damage. And Demon Hunter gets through against the Priest. Game 1 in the books for Astral Frog.
Yeah, quite the combo there to finish off the game.
Didn't even need that minion. Well, I technically did for the 0-mana hero power, but you know.
Of course.
17 damage. Right upstairs on 17 health. You know, it's just what Demon Hunter does sometimes. They get to accumulate a whole lot of attack power and send it all face. Demon Hunter is through now for Astral Frog. He is down to the Hunter and Warrior. Desharmo with the full set. Going right back with the Priest. Out comes the Hunter for Astral Frog. Gotta say, either option that Astral Frog picked here was heavily Priest favored for Desharmo.
Yeah, and I mean that's a lot of the reason why you have that Priest in your lineup, because you're gonna hit something eventually that you're gonna be favored into.
I like this Q order though from Whoa, and a different Hunter.
Don't feed the animal. Wait, is this a Beast Hunter or is it just?
This might be OTK.
Yeah, the
I mean,
Leerox.
Wolper says it's not though. Maybe it's just the spicier version of Face Hunter that just runs a little bit of buff. But a very intriguing inclusion we don't often see. Don't feed the animals being run. But regardless, I like the Hunter bring to be the next one into what was likely the Priest, because Warrior just feels so miserable against Priest right now.
And speaking of feeling miserable, this lineup of dragons for Desharmo likely never going to want to play any of them. I mean, if you get to that point, you've pretty much already won as Priest.
I mean, the Sleepy Dragon can be coined out on turn 7 in a somewhat ideal scenario, so seemed like the most reasonable of the choices.
And the Selective Breeder, another one of the cards that you don't typically see in this list.
I think this is the first clue for Desharmo that he is not up against the Hunter that he would have expected. Because Selective Breeder is not a common inclusion at all in a Face Hunter list, which means much more likely he's up against a combo Hunter, something with Leerox and trying to copy King Crushes and beat you down that way.
And for what it's worth, we saw more than just Volpertinger and Trampling Rhino in that selection, and he saw it too. You know, he saw the Selective Breeder come down. It's a discover effect from your own deck. So when Desharmo sees 3 options, he has to know, all right, it's more than I would normally expect to see in this list.
Yep, also very true. There are, blaring alarms going off. This is not Face Hunter. That the signals have been sent to Desharmo here. So we'll see if there's anything that causes him to kind of alter his game plan. That's a lot of rhinos in hand, by the way.
Yeah, it's 2. That's the most you can have without shenanigans. So it's Druid Crescent, another. I mean, at this point, I guess we should stop being shocked about the abnormal inclusions. And here comes Don't Feed the Animals. These are big Volpertingers, man.
Oh yeah. Couple of 3/3s hitting the board. Astral Frog now faced with the decision: do I just clear this Scorpid with my Mandrake? Doesn't. I think it's still probably the move you need to make. But just wants to get all the damage upstairs. Sharmo very quickly thrown down this Veil Weaver. He's got some Holy Smites for clear and generation.
And he generates a Condemn and a Devouring Plague. Lifesteal, deal 4 damage, randomly spin among all enemy minions. Great in this matchup here.
Oh wow. Insta-wife. The top deck for Astral Frog, the Barack Code Obama, can just immediately draw a 1 mana spell, draw a 2 mana spell, and your only 3 should be the Mankrik Wife. But gonna hold back, the first of 3 rhinos in
Right.
hand obviously can come down, clear up the board completely, send damage, and Kodabane can come down a little bit later. I admire the restraint. I love just playing Wife like immediately, but probably the correct move here from Astral Frog to go with Rhino.
I would say in this case it is, and we're going to see a clear here of the Devouring Plague plus the Condemn, but that means we are all Mancriks on deck here.
Hey, there's no board for Rhino anymore. Find
Nope.
Wife.
Into the tracking second, Don't Feed the Animals, and there she is. / he is.
Oh, and finds a True Aim Crescent as well off of the draw. A very useful card for the combos with Trampling Rhino. Goes with that tracking, can get another Selective Breeder as well. Scorpid, also a reasonable option for Discover.
Yeah, going with the Scorpid, I think, because it does, not only does it activate the Don't Feed the Animals, it can also be buffed by it if you opt to play something else instead to corrupt the Don't Feed the Animals.
And potential immediate removal as well, paired with the True Aim. Although, the minions on board would attack first. There could be a scenario where the board gets cleared and you need to deal with something, in which case Scorpid True Aim is quite a nice combo. Speaking of combos, out comes the new Reno Jackson for Priest. Not a full heal, but almost. As the Sharma goes up to 29, gets a few minions back as well with that Raised Dead and takes a little bit more damage. And this is going to be an obnoxious minion to deal with the healing represented. For a couple of rhinos in hand.
Ron, I'd like to go back to turn 1 when I said that Sleepy Dragon was probably not going to be played unless you were winning anyway. I was wrong, so I'd like to just throw that out there that I was wrong. That it might actually come into play and be very useful, knowing that he knows that there's at least 1 Trampling Rhino. He doesn't know there's 2, but it'll at least stop a little bit of damage.
In fairness, that analysis did come before either of us knew that Astral Frog's Hunter deck was much different from the ones we've been regularly seeing.
I expect clairvoyance on my end, and yours for that matter.
Nice. Astral might be looking at just, single Don't Feed the Animals. Doesn't get the +2, but gets a +1. Good enough. Sends a little bit extra damage. So that Rhino down for more damage and clear.
Now, interestingly, was that the Rhino that was generated? Yeah, that was the Rhino that was generated off of Selective Breeder.
It was indeed.
So, okay. So as far as Desharmo knows, that he has to know there's at least 1 more Rhino out there because he's seen a generated Rhino now.
Yeah, and doesn't know if it's in hand or deck. So well structured by Astral Frog there. Desharmo, of course, had the Shadow Word Death, plays that Scorpid for more annoying poison.
Piercing shot.
Piercing shot looks
very,
nice, yeah.
Very intriguing.
You can play your True Aim and clear up the Sethic as well,
and
still get to push some additional face damage.
Yeah, I think that's a great structure here to this turn.
All right, so Astral Frog just continually finding damage. Decides to hold back the True Aim. Maybe just wants this to be a surprise. You can't play around this card for Desharmo. That would be the main reason I see floating 1 mana and missing 3 face damage.
Well, allow me to throw out the possibility of Trampling Rhino rushing and then Trampling Rhino hitting again after True Aim. So
Which is, of course, your
Yeah.
ideal outcome from True Aim. So that combo being so important to Astral Frog, wants, I think, just to conceal that information from Desharmo as long as possible.
yeah, it's and the Rhino can be buffed a little bit too because you got that Adorable Infestation in hand. So you can even go ahead and pump it up to 9 attack. So at absolute best, you can deal 16 damage because of having to deal damage to a minion that would have at least at least 1 health.
Actually have to have minions to attack
Of course.
into. Which, as we can see... Oh, well, there's one. That's an option of a minion to potentially attack into soon. Desharmo going to hold this back for now, though, of course.
Yeah, I didn't want to play anything into the possibility of that or the instant death of the Scorpid.
Here's another breeder. Let's see what it finds.
Only a Scorpid.
Okay, so Scorpid is the final one. Desharmo now knows, I think, beyond all shadow of a doubt, that there is one Trampling Rhino in
Right.
Astral Frog's hand.
Deadly Shot is absolutely the best pick here because that Sleepy Dragon wants to come down. And the only way Astral Frog can get rid of it in a convenient fashion would be that Deadly Shot. That's amazing that he picks that up. I mean, I guess the other picks weren't exactly insanely great, but that is very fortunate for Astral Frog.
Yeah, I mean, the other option's just really underwhelming. Astral Frog is starting to just run out of ways to get damage. We can see, like, the early assessment that this could be a Leerox and King Crush deck. Obviously, not going that route, so it
Right.
doesn't have that big burst potential. It really is all on the Rhino and the Crescent.
And as Priest does, it's going to continue to heal. What would Rally bring back? Would just be a Veil Weaver, I imagine. No, and a Venomous Scorpid as well.
So because of that play of the Scavengers, this Warsong Wrangler is actually a dead card now, correct?
No. Yes, you're right. Yeah, because he selective breedered 1 Scorpid and then used the Scavenger's Ingenuity to pull the second one.
If he had waited on the Scavengers, he could have maybe played Wrangler just to buff everything, but I don't know if that's really all that much better. And Desharmo just seems to kind of be turning the corner here, just continually clearing boards, healing, and, getting everything out of range of all of Astral Frog's realistic damage output.
Second
But
Scorpid.
who knows? Scorpid finds more, well, Jewel Nazan isn't going to do much of anything.
No. It's either Demon Companion or a second Deadly Shot. I guess, what do you really think you're going to need a Deadly Shot 2 things for, so Demon Companion is the pick. Buff Demon.
Well, it's 1 more damage. Has a clear of the Sethic with an Overwhelm.
Another main decked card. Cards that we have just not seen in Hunter.
See a Deadly Shot get played here to deal with the poison, or gonna ignore this? Oh, okay.
Looks like
Taking
it's
a
ignored.
trade.
Yep.
Well, you definitely wanted to protect the 4/5, so that was Astral Frog's decision to protect the 4/5 to send more damage, was take the poison on poison trade. Desharmo at this point, just, a little bit more self-damage. Let me find some more resources. Crucially, does have a weak minion up that could be targeted by Rhino. But as long as there's not 2 weak minions, Astral Frog's going to have a really hard time finding damage. You see Desharmo, though, throwing down some Veil Weavers.
The man does
Wants
love his
the
value.
board presence, and it is going to be really dangerous now. This is a lot right here with the Rhino and True Aim. This is the moment.
This is what Astral Frog has been building to.
These do 9 Well, actually, it would do 10, right? Or it would be at 10 attack, so it could deal 9 on the Wand Maker with a hit, and
Mhm.
then 7 on the other one, so 16, 17, 18, 19 plus button is 21. Wow, this is close.
Interesting.
I
He's gonna hold
I
it
don't know if
back.
Astro Frog ever gets there if he doesn't take the opportunity for the Trampling Rhino right
Yeah.
now.
I just don't know what other minions that Astrofrog would expect Dusharma to play that would be something you want to target. I mean, it looks like he's going for, like, I'm going to continue to generate tempo and maybe try to kill you all in one turn, but Samuro's about to come down, completely put a crimp in those plans, and clear this board.
Yeah, it's another full board clear. Desharmo heals again, feeling under so little pressure that he heals the Samuro rather than his own
Right.
face. And yeah, I think with that missed opportunity for Astrofrog, we're holding dead card. You know, this buffs nothing if you don't play anything. Terrain does nothing, and Trampling Rhino's being held. This probably just spells complete doom for Astrofrog, and I think we're going to see the Priest pick up the win.
And not only that, you look at Dusharmo, and he feels so confident that he just wants to go ahead and draw 7 cards out of his deck.
I mean, there was a high likelihood that you could get Apotheosis, which I think was probably the move,
Right.
and of course, finding it gets more heal. This seems so insurmountable. There's not even a deadly shot in Astral Frog's hand anymore to try to clear up one of these giant health minions. Dead cards in Astral Frog's 6-card hand.
Yeah, the combo, I mean, obviously see what Astrofrog's going for here. Definitely a very interesting concept for the deck. Is it necessarily better than the general Face Hunter, though?
It was definitely interesting, and I liked it. But I think there might have been a few missed opportunities. I'm not sure if it even gets there anyway against all of what Priest's, heal and removal kit has to offer. But there is no way Astrofrog is winning this game from this point. And the best oh, well, okay. He runs a Frenzy. So that's what he's been waiting all game for.
Okay.
Literally, this was the final Rhino in deck. And now that he has Frenzy, he has more Rhinos, and they're bigger.
And he has Warsong.
And War Songs are now no longer dead cards. Okay, my apologies. I didn't realize there were still outs in the deck. A second Dire Frenzy, of course, is extremely likely to be run as well. Meaning that, even though he doesn't get to send much damage, and takes a lot of damage here,
Right.
get to clear up a good amount of minions, I still don't see this being a win. Honestly, I think maybe his best move could have been just concede to hide
the info
for the next
Yep.
match.
I'd like to point out
but-
that an 11 attack Rhino just hit twice in a turn and did 1 face damage.
Yeah.
That is not what you would expect, but it's...
All right. What was it?
yeah.
Was this a turn 1 pick? This Sleepy Dragon
Yes,
coming
literally
down
turn
when
1.
Desharmo's 5 cards in deck.
He had this Nozdormu and Plague Protodrake to decide between, and he chose Sleepy Dragon. And full circle, Sleepy Dragon gets played in this game.
All right. Yeah, you can find your Rhino, but I think you're just dead. No matter what you do.
I mean, you certainly can't use the weapon here without obviously dying next turn.
Like that 12 health is just a tiny bit too much as a break point. And Astrofrog is dead to
There
the
it is.
board. Yep. Sees it. There's a concede. And we are tied up 1-1. Desharmo gets the Priest through. Astrofrog still has the Hunter and Warrior remaining to find wins. Desharmo now down to his Hunter and Warrior as well. We've got a full mirror in the remainder of these games.
That we do. So,
Do
Where
you think we just see Warrior Mirror? Because
I
neither
think we do.
to Warrior.
Yeah, I think we both see them go to Warrior this time.
And then we see Warrior again. Whoever loses as the Warrior will
Right.
bring Warrior right back to beat the Hunter.
I think that's the most reasonable strategy from a Conquest perspective, just because you don't want to run into. Well, you know, we say that, but Astral Frog's Hunter is not the standard Hunter.
I don't know if it's any better against Rush Warrior if
I
Desharmo's
don't-
going Rush Warrior.
I don't think there's any HS replay stats on that. If I had to guess.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But Game 3 is starting up here between Desharmo and Astral Frog, and we are going to see two Warriors.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprisingly. Rikara and Garrosh.
It's a mirror, and it's Rush versus Rush. So there's a Studies in Astral Frog's opening hand. Definitely an ideal early game card that you want to keep.
Stage Dive, another very, very good card. Odds that it will get corrupted very quickly. Very
For
high.
Desharmo, I'm not sure if you want to keep any of that.
No,
on
he
his
is.
opener.
He has yeeted every card on my screen here, but we can't see what he got back yet.
Yeah, I like this mold decision from Astral Frog. Pitch the 3 mana, try to find something a little bit faster.
And they both end up with
Play
Krabby
and-
Boys.
The curve doesn't quite work out exactly the way you want it to corrupt the Stage Dive immediately, though. If Astral Frog goes Studies on 1, he'd have a 1 mana Crab Rider on 2, which would not corrupt the Stage Dive, but could find a 3 mana that he plays on 2. Isn't offered that, of course.
No.
More Samuro, not a bad option. Maybe you'd main deck 2 of them if you could.
Probably would, I would imagine. We're going to see. Oh,
speaking
great
of main
options.
decking 2 legendaries, I think you always want Rikara.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a case for Crab Rider, but Rikara is very, very good. And I think one thing that a lot of people do is they tend to be too greedy with Rikara. You want to build her into this big combo turn if you can, and sometimes it's just good to play her and get a little bit of value.
True. We see Desharmo debating, do I want like a turn 2 Rikara? Do I want to coin out this 1 mana Crab Rider right now? And opts for the Crab Rider right.
Well, he
In
can't
time.
do Rikara now because it goes back to 3 mana.
True. But I mean the decision of, do I want to play like the Rikara next turn, or do I want to play Crab Rider here? And Astral Frog is kind of awkward.
Well, I'm wondering if Desharmo maybe forgot that Rikara was going to go back up to 3 mana, because now he doesn't really have anything to do next turn, because you don't really want to play Conditioning if you can avoid it. It's not a great turn to play.
Yeah, it might be the best turn to play right now for Astral Frog, though. Getting to corrupt the Stage Dive and buffing the Crab Rider a little bit. And I think we are going to wind up seeing this being played here. It's just the best use of mana right now for Astral Frog.
Yeah, I think with that makes sense, because Desharmo, well, he picks up Parade Leader, which gives him a play, but there's no way for him to really have buffed the minion on board without it being damaged. Unless like Shield of Honor might be in this deck, but it's not damaged, so you can't buff the 1/4 as it is. So this gives Astral Frog a clean way to kill this Crab Rider now.
Yeah, solid find for Desharmo, though, picking up the Parade Leader right off the top. It's a dangerous minion to deal with, and you saw that Astral Frog had the Samuro all lined up to clear that Crab Rider, but Parade Leader a little bit scarier.
Yeah, it can get out of control very quickly, especially with things like Bumper Car.
The consequence, of course, Crab Rider gets to hit twice and get a double buff from Rikara, so pick your poison.
Yeah, I think what Astral Frog was probably thinking was like, Samuro is going to eat this Crab Rider. It can only hit once, and now with Rikara in play, that is not the case anymore. So we see Astrofrog has ETC, which just got drawn. Not a card that has been in every deck. We saw a list from No Hands Gamer come out yesterday that cut ETC entirely. So definitely a little bit of a different kind of flow. You know, it's not like an OTK 100% from full health or anything like it was anymore. Brooms don't get run in this deck, but it can still be a good finisher in the right circumstance. And Bumper Car is one of those circumstances.
Okay, going with the Crab Rider trade. I thought maybe with the Bumper Car pickup, the fact that it could trade right in, die, and... Oh wait, it couldn't die, could it?
No, it would not have
Yeah,
been
it
able
couldn't
to.
die. Then never mind. That it was always the Crab Rider. Math is hard. That's 4 health. Never mind.
Desharmo picks up that conditioning, just rips it right away. Had no other play other than to hero power, so we're going to see that buff his minions only slightly, just a 1/1 buff.
Yeah, awkward hands for both players so far, but Watley does a lot to make things less awkward, picking up a lot more draws here, and we would expect that Desharmo's list does not run ETC,
Yeah, seeing that 10th Thrasher,
which was popularized by the No Hands list.
right. And 10th Thrasher, great, backup plan to, I've already drawn Alexstrasza, I'm going to get another draw to Watley.
Absolutely. Parade Leader coming down, gets to buff a very cheap Bumper Car.
I apologize, I called it 10th Thrasher, it is 10th Trasher.
Easy mistake. I've bounced back and forth on that a lot before I just like finally read the card like extensively. I'm like, wait, what does this say? Okay.
I would like to apologize to the Trasher family.
Alright, Astrofrog making good use of this Parade Leader. I think I'd like to see this Dark Moon Rider come down. Mosin oops. Was he thinking he should have swung the weapon into the minion there?
Yeah, that might have been what he was thinking. Still going to swing it.
I mean, he's holding an ETC, so there is an argument to hold back the Rider.
Right.
Just thinking if it dies, you can get more from ETC off of it to guarantee more damage.
I was really hoping you were going to go with the Ivan Drago reference.
If he dies, he dies. Nice. Alright, now the Rider comes down. It's going to knock off this Divine Shield. Astrofrog picking up his own Shield of Honor enables some interesting options. I definitely like the Krastenov trade and Shield of Honor buff.
Yeah, I think you do both. Yeah, for sure.
You just go with damage face. And that 6-2 Divine Shield taunt, kind of a problem.
Yeah, Bumper Car can fully clear it, though. Just rush right into it, go ahead, and then use that Wormhole Challenger to clear up the board.
A really nice top deck for
Yeah.
Desharmo here.
And looking at Astrofrog's hand, obviously Desharmo sees 2 cards, does not know what those 2 cards are. They've been in hand for a couple turns, so you have to assume that they're either high cost, Alexstrasza, or some sort of combo piece. He doesn't know the ETCs necessarily run in this list, but he knows that Astrofrog is kind of in dire straits as far as hand is concerned. Without picking up something like Watley, Desharmo can kind of really do what he wants here for the next turn or two. Even though he's at a low health total right now, he's in decent shape.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alex to just flip things right back around. If Astrofrog goes completely on the burn plan, like I've just got to get there with Alex. We can see this top deck is pretty miserable for Astrofrog right now. Your only real use of your mana play is conditioning, play a PC, press the button, maybe you send 4 face, and hope that Alex can get you there. I mean, you do kind of force Desharmo to start pressing the button in return because, you know, there's a chance ETC could survive with a buff. And then Alex could finish things off with the lethal burst.
Sure,
it being a
possible.
combo piece feels bad to use, but you have 0 lethal setup if you just go for this now. And if
An
you want to set
immediate
Desharmo to
troublemaker.
2, well, he could go right back to 10 by playing Alex.
Yeah, immediate troublemaker. Was there any thought to Desharmo maybe just playing a Sword Eater and making sure that there was no direct face damage?
I mean, Rush Warrior doesn't run burn outside of Alex,
Weapons. Sword Eater.
but weapons don't do 10,
Not this turn.
which is why you just jam a Troublemaker on an
Yep.
empty board.
And this is a bumper car. Gonna do, what, 8 damage?
I'm sure Desharmo's
damage.
going to be pretty surprised to see this ETC, though. Not a very common inclusion as of late.
No.
And it does get quite a bit of damage. You know, Astrofrog rewarded for holding back that ETC. Gets to make things very close. But Desharmo still easy stabilize.
Yeah, immediately.
Alex's own face.
Now,
Get the minion off the board.
I will say he could have lethal, technically. If he had played the Alexstrasza, hit Astrofrog's face to deal 8 damage, and then both of the Ruffians went face, that would have been 14, 15, 23. So he could have got there.
Yeah.
Actually,
You wanna just YOLO that and say no
Wait,
way do I
maybe he had
Ruffians
a
ever.
maybe he had a guaranteed lethal if he used the Warmaul to plink into into the minion, and then if one of the
he?
Ruffians
Yeah.
hit, then he would have
That's
had
what I'm looking at.
8, 16, 19. No, he would have been one shy. He would have been one shy.
And the cycle of life is
There was like an exact terrible outcome where he lost, right?
Of course.
If he had just gone for the lethal.
Yes.
And you really don't need to, because your opponent's got, like, it's a risky line. It would have been fancy. But yeah, Desharmo picking up the victory here, just, you know, takes the conservative line, makes sure he heals up, and the best answer to Alex is Alex. You know, sometimes your opponent has it. There's nothing you can do. Astrofrog came very close, but couldn't get over the top. We are very likely seeing the Warrior come right back for Astral, and Desharmo down to his final deck in the Hunter.
That he is going for the game for Hunter versus Warrior match. A potential win here for not only Desharmo, but Dad Legend as a whole. And you don't like to see most of that in Desharmo's opening hand. Probably going to get rid of everything but maybe the Wound Prey.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to keep any of those cards except Wound Prey. This is a very bad matchup, though, for Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like getting rid of the Wound Prey there. You probably want to look for something better to play on one than that. And he does find it in Volpertinger.
Well, that's quite a bit of early game plays. This is a possible... Wow, especially with these draws. This is very possible for Hunter to find its way into a win here. Picking up the Initiate right off the top, too. Able to immediately activate the Spell Burst, go wide on the board with buffs and more minions on the way.
I think that's the play. I mean, you have to just know that Astrofrog has the deck to beat you, and you have to hope he draws poorly enough that you get there. And you know, Desharmo making the option to go, or taking the initiative going as wide as possible here. I like it.
Yeah, and continuing to get things to do on curve. Mankrik on 3 with this kind of start feels excellent for Hunter. Takes the double buff, clears up the minion, pushes 4 more damage, gets a little bit wider on board.
Unfortunately, it didn't protect the initiative the initiative as well as he would like, because he's going to see Parade Leader plus one of those bumper car Darkmoon Riders come down and kill it.
Yeah, there wasn't really a great way to do that
No.
with the bumper car already on the board. I think that was the best line Desharmo could have
Oh,
taken.
for sure.
Even double buffing just meant that he left the bumper behind, and it's kind of the same outcome.
Yeah, Desharmo did the right thing there. It just didn't work because Astrofrog had the answer. But Desharmo does that move 10 out of 10 times, and it works. You know, more often than not, as long as those 2 exact cards are not there in Astrofrog's hand.
True, true. We're also seeing how incredibly strong Parade Leader is in this deck. Face Hunter wants so badly to just go face all the time. Not only did Parade Leader enable a very important clear, but also eats up that additional 3 damage. The minion is so
Definitely.
important that trades go straight into it instead of pushing face. And now this appears to be the stage of the game where Astral Frog starts to stabilize a good bit, has the Sword Eater up, a very pesky, annoying taunt, even takes this weapon trade into a 1-1 just to make the Sword Eater harder to deal with.
Pack Runner, not a bad top deck. Can actually deal with this 2/5 now with Pack Runner plus Quick Shot. Actually, that's not true.
Well, yeah,
I mean, he
it's
can.
the same as
Yeah.
if you just had Quick Shot. Almost there.
For some reason, my brain did 1 extra damage that he can't get.
2-3 on the board and summons an additional 1 attack minion, 1-1. So it's the best overall play that Desharmo can really make right now. But things are starting to shift.
You know it feels bad, and you know a matchup feels bad when we are sitting here repeatedly saying Desharmo is making the best play he can, and yet those plays do not feel impactful or strong in any way. And that's just how bad this matchup can be for this hunter. And we see Astral Frog with options on options here. Sky Talon for a cheap minion that can get rid of other low health minions, or Rakara if he would like to instead. Brute probably the only one that's not getting chosen here, I would imagine.
I mean, with Playmaker in hand, I think you really want the Sky Talon here.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
And you just go Playmaker, Sky Talon, and Dark Moon Rider. You get to summon 2 2/1s and 2 1/1s, and really just wreck this board.
Yeah, something we talked about today in regards to this deck is how you shape those Playmaker turns is really the secret to unlocking the power behind this deck. Playmaker is such a good card and has the ability to overwhelm your opponents very, very quickly. And those who use the Playmaker the best tend to be very, very good with this deck.
Ooh, and we see Astral Frog going maybe a little bit on the greedy side here. Rakara, though, is an insanely powerful card, especially if the Playmaker was able to stick to get double Rakara.
Right.
So I think Astral Frog maybe stars in the eyes a little bit. Oh my god, I could get 2 Rakaras. But Desharmo, with Hunter's favorite turn 5 play lately, jam the Rhino, clear the minion, send some damage face.
Does the greedy play going for the Rakara actually open up the possibility of a win here with Desharmo? Because, I mean, Astral Frog could have just taken the safe line, kept steady, decided to go for the possibility of sticking a double Rakara, but
I was going to say maybe,
gonna
but
be a little
probably
excited.
not with Desharmo's hand, but then he pulls this card. I think you have to lead Demon Companion here, though. Just on the off chance that you get the buffer and it makes Mankrik do 4 instead of 3. Because we're probably always playing this Demon Companion, so just a slight ordering mishap probably won't matter.
Didn't matter.
Hey,
Nope.
always Refa.
Better
Never relevant.
anyway. Well, not better, because I mean you would have buffed the 1/1 as well. Would have been equivalent. Better in this case, but it would have been a worse play had the 1/2 come down.
Yeah, but now things are we've got a little bit of an ordering mishap again. Well, I don't know. Do you want to send 2 more damage more than you want to buff ETC? I think with your opponent at 30, you probably wanted to buff ETC.
Yeah, I think so too.
But either way, it's not too relevant here. But we see the way things have gone now for Astral Frog. He's very much falling behind, and the window is wide open for Desharmo to push through and get this Hunter damage way to the finish line.
Here comes the Rhino. Rhino number 2.
Does he say Runthack is irrelevant here?
I think you might. I mean, honestly, with Desharmo can't know what's in hand for Astral Frog, but he's got that Troublemaker on the left has been in here since literally the mulligan. And the second Troublemaker has been in hand since turn 1. So you've got cards that have just been sitting. You know they're likely not rush minions. The Troublemaker probably has to come down here, or is
the only play is Playmaker, Rakara, Hero Power.
Yeah.
And pray that you're not dead, but I think it's not enough. What? Playmaker gets double. Oh, okay. Then you're just dead.
Wow. Facemaker.
So yeah, the Troublemaker coming to. Okay. just recognizes,
It was
there's no
pretty,
way.
pretty tough either way.
I think it was over regardless. I don't think that ultimately made a real difference. I think Desharmo was always getting there with the damage in hand too, and the 310 on board. But definitely unfortunate at the very end for Astral Frog.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw the fact that Astral Frog could not overcome the very heavy hand there to win the favored matchup there. I think Kodobane was the key. Without Kodobane, Desharmo does not win that game.
Yeah, that was massive, absolutely massive. Because it was looking like, Desharmo's hand says, all right, I've got like a little bit of damage that I can push, and just some small, mostly irrelevant minions that are never going to get to push face damage because they'll get cleared by rushers. But yeah, the Kodobane being drawn right off the top was just a complete game clincher, it seemed. And Desharmo finds his way to that 3-1 victory. That's 12-7. That punches it for Dad Legend. That's a guaranteed win for the week.
It is indeed, and the man himself has just joined the party. Desharmo,
Hey, welcome
congratulations on the win.
Desharmo. Congrats.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So I think I speak for Ron as well when I would love to know your thoughts on when you saw that Hunter deck that Astral Frog was playing.
I was like, what the heck is this? I didn't know what it was. When I saw the 1 mana, the 2 mana 1/1, I was like, maybe this is just a greedy version of Face Hunter. And then I don't know. I was like, what is this? And in my priest deck, I was like, I don't want to say I was worried, but I was concerned that maybe he might be able to like outvalue me at some point. But then I got a bunch of cards that generated cards, and then no. So, but
just priest things, yeah.
That whole game was a journey of discovery for us because we kept seeing like a new card would pop in hand and we go, oh, that's what he's trying to do with this deck. Oh, that's what he's trying to do. And it was like we kept seeing things shift as the game went on, and we would understand more. So I can only understand what it looked like for you, not seeing his hand, just being like, what is even going on right now? But you navigated it, you did what you had to do, and obviously got there in the end. So we saw Priest be very effective in both of our series side. How did you feel about your Priest spring?
I thought it was really good. I've been on Priest since after the nerfs, and it's a great deck. Really, the only deck that like truly beats it like hardcore is Control Warlock, and Control Warlock is kind of in a bad place right now. So Priest is really solid. If you bring Control Warlock, you're bringing it to beat Priest. Pretty much is what it comes down to.
Yeah, even in its
Definitely.
bad matchups, Priest seems to be pretty good at the moment. We saw one of those, I guess, like semi-bad matchups that happened with Astral Frog getting 17 damage burst from the Demon Hunter to just get you from exactly 17.
Well, actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
didn't interrupt you. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
I was just gonna say that like even in that kind of matchup, unless something like that happens, generally Priest still is feeling pretty okay, even against like a bursty type class like Demon Hunter with all the heal that it has to offer.
I lost that match because of his Kazakus. His Kazakus created 2 5/5s that went face and did 10 damage. If he didn't have that Kazakus, I would have been fine. It was just I was trying to fight that board, and my priest deck wasn't running the 7 mana spell, so I couldn't like kill it even if I had stuff, and I didn't generate one. So, but I, in my opinion, this is from my experience. I think if he didn't get that 5/5, it would have been a much different game. Because I was at 30 health, I think, up at that point when he played it.
True,
but that started jamming me with a bunch of damage.
That was your only loss on the night, as Priest proceeded to get the victory in the next game, and then just kind of clutched out over the next two. Warrior versus Warrior was, I think, very crucial in a lot of ways. Neither of you wanted to run Hunter into Warrior, it seemed, and then the fact that you were able to get that victory with Hunter against Warrior. Astral Frog's hand got a little bit clunky towards the end, and you had just enough the Kodobane pickup off the top was
That
so
ridiculous.
massive.
that was game
I think that
winning
was
right there.
game winning. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely.
Well, speaking of game winning, so that brings you and Dad Legend to 12 points plus the guaranteed win on the week now at 15, with still one match left to play. That's Blue Spartan. Do you feel confident that Dad Legend is going to exit this week on top of the red standings? I mean, you've got up to 19 points. That's got to feel like you're in great position here to open the season.
I think we're doing great, and we have a great team. Everybody across the board, and Blue Spartan in the 4 is gross. So I'm really liking our chances, over the season, and just got to keep putting in some work and help out our 5C a little bit, and I think we'll be fine.
So I've got one final question for you.
Yes.
How much Dad Legend gear did you buy?
Why are you putting me on the spot? I haven't bought any Dad Legend gear.
Oh,
no.
you can't say
Bad
that.
teammate, get him off the team.
Oh,
I haven't bought any Dad Legend gear. I'm planning on buying a bunch of stuff.
I'm clipping this and sending it to Yellow Dart, just so you know.
I know, right? You put me right on the spot. Oh my gosh.
Well, anything else you'd like to say before we head out for the evening, DeSharmo?
No, you guys are awesome. I love what you guys do.
Appreciate you too, buddy.
Yeah, thanks very much for saying so, and thanks for being on stream for tonight. Congrats once again on the victory, and good luck to yourself and Dad Legend on the season going forward.
Thank you guys.
Well, Ron, was a great night. Had 2 great series there, both going to 4 games. Happy birthday again to Dr. Fish. Thank you to Fish, Clarity, DeSharmo, of course, and Astrofrog for allowing us to spectate these matches and bring the content to the people. This was week 1. Got plenty more weeks to come. Plenty more games to display. I'm excited for what this THL season will bring. This meta is a lot of fun. It seems like it's going to be a good experience over the next few weeks as we really figure out where these Conquest and LHS lineups should land.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, what more can you ask for than some fireworks to kick things off? We saw the spicy win from Dr. Fish against Clarity in game 1. Our first game of the new season for Salty Saturday, setting the tone, and excited to see what the rest of the season will bring. Happy to be here tonight, of course, and I'm sure Isocles will be coming back next week, right?
Potentially, we'll see what the man has for in his schedule. I don't know what precluded him from being here tonight, but I'm happy that you were able to be here with us, Ron, and I'm happy that maybe you just got to witness a Hearth Center clip firsthand in that first game. So that's
yeah, but it's. I was thinking it at the time it happened. I was like, I was probably going to be the clip. We'll see.
Well, we look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday on Hearth Center. And for those who are looking for matches, we will see some more tomorrow afternoon on the Schoolstone show in the afternoon Sunday, and we'll have some Sunday night matches as well. So make sure to tune back in tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, in between your Masters Tour qualifier matches. Of course, Ron, he's not doing any of that because he's already going, and he's just going to win 7 games in Orgrimmar, so he doesn't have to do any Dalaran qualifiers either, right? That's the plan.
Easy. Yeah, that's the plan. We just never lose in
never
Masters
lose
Tour, and get the first place in the 25 grand, and become a GM, all that.
Exactly.
Right? It's easy, right? You just don't lose.
Exactly. So, on behalf of future GM Ron Mexico, thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week. And good luck to everyone who still has yet to play. Good luck in all your THL matches. See you next time.
Have a great night, everyone.